watch most of the games, all the games that, we aren't playing, I'm watching. I saw in that Rutgers game that Ethan, he really stepped up in a huge way when things weren't going the team's way at all.
4 seconds, Happ down the baseline. We're tied at 45, and we're going to overtime in the Garden.
You love to see a guy who, works hard, a guy that cares, a guy that goes out and has a performance and really picks up the rest of his team. That's something great to watch. And, I texted him after the game that he was the reason they won the game.
Dripped by Happ, just plucked it out of his hands.
And that makes someone like me very proud. I saw a lot of myself when I was young in Ethan when he got to campus. I remember he'd have some really, really good practices, and then he'd have some practices where you could tell things were going his way, and he'd just get so frustrated and down on himself, which is how I used to act.
Practicing against Frank was hard to do every day. One, to not get on his nerves too much to where he wants to punch me in the face. Two, he was the National Player of the Year, so it wasn't an easy task, skill-wise either. What I learned was that I wasn't a very good post player.
Frank Kaminsky.
Frank didn't really tell me, do this better or do that better. He would just block my shot or score on me over and over and over again, and eventually I would pick up after so many practices.
Ethan was just competitive enough to bug Frank. He competed, but yet he was a sponge. He picked up on the good Frank, but also the dirty tricks Frank, the things that Frank would do to a little brother.
He kind of stole some of my moves, his back tip steal.
Happ steps in.
I can give him 85% credit for that, yeah. I'll have to give partial credit to him on, it's kind of like an up and under, but instead of going under, you kind of back pivot.
Nice move by Happ.
Both of us being smaller guys and then having, our growth spurts, but, we were basketball players before we were big guys. That kind of skill that we had before we grew, we both kind of kept with us. Ethan's a different player at the end of the day than I was. He's much more active. I wasn't a guy that was going to get out and steal the ball, defend on the perimeter, be able to move my feet like he can. The way he gets to his spots and reads angles and plays off his teammates, you could just tell he has a feel for the game that not many people have.